Welcome to Internal Investigation, hosted by your very own Motivational Scott.
Okay, so today, I was thinking we've been talking about, emotions and managing our emotions and basically getting unstuck. We talked about how our emotions are a powerful tool to get us moving, get us going. And so we talked about the fact that, every day, you should have your emotions stirred to laugh, to smile, to at least feel something, so that we know that you're alive and that you're moving. But one thing I also want to talk to you about, because sometimes we feel stuck because we've been typecast, And I don't know if you remember, we talked about this in a previous podcast about, is that your character or are you just a character? Are you just a character playing a role in a script written by someone else, And so sometimes being typecast actually means that you played a certain role for so long that no one could see you as anything else but that. I don't know about you, but I know there's been times where I felt like I wanted to change and I felt like it was hard for me to change because everyone expected me to be this other person. I can remember growing up and going to high school, and I can remember the first time I actually went to a party and actually danced, slow dance. I used to be so quiet and shy. I grew up, I didn't have a problem playing by myself. My friends, I had a small, close group of friends. So it just wasn't hard for me to just to spend time and be by myself, But I'm playing football, I'm doing all these different things, and so I can remember going to this party. This is how quiet and shy I was. And so the first time I actually ever danced, slow dance with a girl, I was so nervous. I was shaking so bad, I made her shake. It was like one of those cartoons, and you hit something and they shake, and then you touch someone else and they shake. That's how bad it was. And so I can remember that moment, and I walked off, and I was like, man. And so just even the thought of actually walking up and talking to someone, that was just a nerve-wracking thing for me. And so when I got to FAMU, I can remember my first roommate, and he just began to talk because he was a transfer junior, so he was a little older than me. And so we began to change the character of who I was. So I stopped being this quiet, shy guy who didn't really talk, and I became this person who actually was a little bit more outgoing. I didn't have problems going and talking to individuals one-on-one. So much so that when I tell people who know me from school, from college, and I tell them that I used to be quiet and shy, they don't believe me. Why? Because I played this character, this other character for so long, so that when I wanted to go back and being quiet and shy, people wouldn't let me. When I wanted to go back to being someone else, people wouldn't let me. And it became difficult because I became typecast. And so a lot of times, many of you may feel the same way, that this is who I was, but I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to play that role anymore. But people are holding you to an old role, even though you in your heart really want to change, and on the inside you really want to be different. Most people think that I'm very outgoing. People think that I'm very outgoing because I know how to talk. People think I like to talk. But those who know me real close and personal, they know actually I'm a homebody. I like to stay at home. I like to be by myself a lot of times. And so I don't have a problem with not having a lot of outside interaction. But when I'm around people, my concern and care for people causes me to come out of my shell and be something that, I'm really not, I think about this also. I don't know about you, but I watched this movie, this TV series on Stars called Power. I don't know if many of you watched this movie, right? This series, Power. And I was thinking about this because I felt like this is a great example of being typecast. So the character James and Patrick, he also played the character of Ghost. And he had played the role of Ghost so much that later on, when he got to the point where he said, you know what, I don't want to be Ghost anymore, no one wanted him to be anything else but Ghost. He couldn't be James and Patrick anymore. Everyone called him Ghost, even when he kept saying, that's not me anymore. So the question is, has he changed? Or did he want to change and people kept pulling him back in? There's a scene in The Godfather where the guy says, every time I think that I'm out, they keep pulling me back in. And sometimes that may be what's happening to you. You're trying to get out of an old character because you're really trying to change who you are, but you feel stuck. You know why you feel stuck? Because the people around you keep pulling you back in. So we got to learn how to break free from yesterday, and no matter what someone knows about yesterday, you cannot allow them to hold you to that, because every time they hold you to that, actually, guess what? You're stuck. Set yourself free and don't allow yourself to be typecast.
Thank you for tuning into Dr. Scott's Internal Investigation Podcast. Feel free to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all social media platforms at Motivational Scott for weekly updates.